let's see, what we can do on a low budget and make it, a comedy about what we know, which is, just playing ourselves.
This is great, honestly. I'm very excited today to be speaking with Harrison Xu and Ivan Leung, the writers and directors of Extremely Unique Dynamic. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for the time.
Yo,
Evan,
welcome.
Can I say that I love a good comedy, but it's rare that I genuinely laugh out loud. And certainly I did in this film consistently. And it is so funny. Um, it's just general. It's well, it's meta, as we have the conversation, but it really is a lot of fun. And I have to ask. I mean, I want to ask where the film came from, but I guess the question is, how meta is this film? Like,
I mean, it's pretty meta. Like a lot of things that happen in the film, you kind of have to figure out like what's real and what's not. Like Harrison actually moved to Vancouver. Well, in the film it was Edmonton, but like he actually moved to Vancouver. And one of the big reasons why we made this film is because, well, my best friend is leaving me. My best friend that doesn't call me his best friend is leaving me. And you see how he's shaking his head?
yeah, Harrison's saying no here over here.
you're the worst.
Gosh.
But yeah, it's still meta. I mean, the characters in the movie are basically heightened versions of ourselves in real life. I mean, I am a film marketer in real life, like the character. We're both actors, like we are in the movie. And the movie's about us making a movie about making a movie about making a movie. And now we're marketing the movie about us making a movie about making a movie about making a movie on this interview with you. So it's, this interview itself is part of the metaverse now.
Oh my gosh, am I in the movie?
You
This is
are.
actually being recorded as part of the documentary of the marketing of the movie.
This is the continuation of the movie. This is what's happening when the movie just came out. Because if you know, oh, I can't talk about it because that'll spoil everything else. Never mind.
Well, I mean, this is a the type of movie that could make many movies about making movies. Absolutely. Just
We can make a sequel every year about the making of that movie. And then 20 years from now, it'll be 23 layers deep.
oh my gosh, Matt, you'll be 20 years from now, you'll be doing the 20th anniversary of said movie. It's
And I still don't understand anything you guys are saying. Perfect.
no, in all honesty, is that's where the film was rooted though. It started out of this actual situation where you were moving to Vancouver and you just want to do that. Did How long did it take to bring together? I know in the film it's a weekend. There's no way that this was a weekend, obviously, but or was it written in a weekend?
Well, yeah, I mean, a big part of it was, yeah, like I was moving. Ivan and I, were, really close friends. And we also worked on I know you're making that face because I didn't say best friends. We're
You
best friends.
notice? You not notice? Wow. What
Oh,
combo?
wow. Wow, we're best friends. Hey, sidetrack for a second. I will get back to your question, but Ivan was also a groomsman in my wedding, and we went to Vegas and had a great time at my bachelor party. But I didn't have a best man. I refused to have a best man because I didn't want to label a best friend because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So
That he's so passive that he would not choose one person because he was scared to hurt anyone else's.
yes, so Ivan is one of my best friends.
On
So
on the list.
he's on the list. He's high up there. I talk to him more than anyone. So if that means anything to you, Ivan. So yeah, we were doing the marketing campaign for this movie called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And are you
I've
familiar?
heard of this film. I'm familiar with this film.
Oh,
Okay,
can I show you something?
sure.
This is there's a
The Razzie.
it's a Razzie Award. This is something that we earned by having the best marketing campaign for the worst movie. So we had so much fun doing it that we were like, wait, I think we're funny.
Seriously,
And
congrats.
the movie was shot on such a low budget, and we were like, let's see, what we can do on a low budget and make it, a comedy about what we know, which is, just playing ourselves. And then we were stoned eating Thai food on the floor, and we came up with this meta idea on the spot, and we wrote the script in a couple weeks, and then, we shot it a month after that, and the whole process was super fast because both of us are go-getters,
Like,
workaholics, and yeah, this idea literally started February of last year, and then now, we're a little over a year later, we're doing our festival run, and we're talking to you.
side note, Steve, that Razzie, he made me drive 6 hours total to get that because he was in Canada and he didn't want to pay for shipping. And I was a sucker to actually do it.
You know what? I say this in all genuineness. That's an honor. That no, it isn't. No, I don't mean driving 6 hours. I mean the Razzie itself. Driving 6 hours to pick up a Razzie, that's an honor right there, Ivan. You should be grateful you had that opportunity.
I'm always grateful to Harrison. Yes. I tell him that every day.
But seriously, that is, I mean, for like a film like Blood and Honey, that is absolutely that's a
Yeah,
badge of honor.
it's just as hard to win a Razzie as it is an Oscar. So
Yeah, absolutely.
We were lucky to be the marketing team for it. Yes.
I feel like I should ask for you both, what makes your dynamic extremely unique?
I think it's because from what I think that we're very similar, but Harrison thinks that we're extremely different. Uh, and he feels a sense of shame for me to compare myself to him, obviously. But if that's how he feels, Harrison, you should talk about it.
This is your forum right here.
yeah. Uh, uh, I mean, what makes it unique? I mean, I do think we're very different, but we're very compatible. Ivan is basically like he's my work wife in terms of, I talk to him more than my actual wife.
It's not
Uh,
true.
that is very true. I talk to Ivan all the time, every single day. Every time I get in the car, I literally just told them this the other day. Every time I get in my car, I'm conditioned to call him. I don't know what, even if we have nothing to talk about, I just call Ivan. I'm like,
This is
I don't know what, even if we have nothing to talk about, I just call Ivan. I'm like, I
this is
don't,
marketing. This is marketing, and just letting you know, Steve, this is not true. I didn't talk to him for 3 days, and he was like, "Oh."
This
Continue
is
here.
this is that meta part, right? This is yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
But no, there, you can tell there's honestly there's an incredible incredible relationship with you two on screen, and I can see off screen as well. But that shows up on screen. Like that's part of the joy of this film. Isn't I mean, yes, it's fun. It's got that that meta edge that where it's constantly turning itself the camera on itself, but really it's the two of you together having fun that brings the joy of the piece. And it like the footage of the two kids, was that you? Have you known each other that long?
Mm-mm.
No.
We're just really good directors, and we're just really good at directing actors to get out the best performance that they could get. But I mean, like, yeah, one of the biggest important things for us was, if we were gonna make something, we wanted to have the most fun as possible. We wanted to make sure everyone that was on the team, from production to post-production, to have the best time of their lives. And to show that, filmmaking doesn't have to be excruciating, it doesn't have to be painful, it doesn't have to be, uh not say like how do I say, it doesn't have to be a great piece of art. I think that a great piece of art can come out of us having fun, and it doesn't have to be from like an extremely painful place. And I'm very happy with the moments that we got from it because we allowed ourselves to have fun.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie, like I couldn't have done with anyone other than Ivan because a lot of what we had done. Oh wow, he's crying. Because the movie's a lot of improvised dialogue. Like we wrote a really strong scriptment where it's how each scene starts, how it ends, and like possible things that we could talk about. But that way, like we were able to shape the whole story, make sure that it had beats and moments, but what we actually talked about in between was different in each take. And it requires, you know, someone that you have a lot of trust with to do that, because we basically were doing like 8 to 10 minute takes talking about the most random things. And because we already have a lot of history together, a lot of what we talked about may or may not have been based on reality, or, you know, things that have been going on in our actual lives. So yeah, that's what made it really easy, you know, doing this with someone like Ivan, especially because, like, you know, even though it's a comedy, like you mentioned, there are a lot of more vulnerable moments too. And, you know, these are things that we felt comfortable talking with each other about as our characters.
I wondered that as well, Ivan, especially with your story in this film. I again, with the lines blurred between reality and fiction, I'm not sure where those lines lie, but certainly bringing this story to light and you're in sharing about a moment of sensitivity as you're coming out. Why was that important for you to share in this way in this type of film?
Well, I just don't think that, I mean, when you watch films that are in the same like genre as ours, it's always kind of more painful. It's always kind of more traumatic, but like we don't really get to talk about male friendships, and we don't get to talk about the dynamics of someone that is struggling with their sexuality, but with someone that is so close to them, because you're scared that it'll change the relationship, that it'll change the dynamic of our friendship if they know this uh side of them that is so prevalent but also so hidden to someone that is um very important to them. And uh being having experience of that myself in my own life, I realized that it's one of the biggest struggles that I have personally, and I just wanted to share that on screen because I haven't really seen that on screen with anyone else, especially with just and also like we there's not a lot of films that I can think of that even has two guys talk about their feelings
Mm.
um in general. So we just wanted to really highlight that.
It is a rare thing
Y-
in film for moments like we see in this story, because again, the comedy is broad, and then you bring it in with these moments where the two of you, and it feels so natural and so honest.
Yeah,
um it's really beautiful.
thank you.
I wanted to ask you about Hudson, the inclusion of Hudson in this particular film, how that came about. And I'm really hoping that you've seen Fresh Off the Boat. But
Yeah, that was a narrative decision. I love Fresh Off the Boat.
so how did Hudson get involved?
Well, we're in the same. Am I talking too much, Harrison? Do you want to
No,
take this one?
no, go.
Well, we're all in the same community together. The Asian acting community is actually very small. It's starting to grow a lot more after films like Crazy Rich Asians and Fresh Off the Boat, where we're getting a lot more visibility. But even right now, like the Asian acting community, the Asian entertainment community is still small and growing right now. So because it's such a close-knit community, we all know each other,
Mm.
or we have someone that knows someone. So being able to have that tight-knit community, we were able to just be like, hey, can we ask this person? Hello? Oh, hey, you want to be in a movie? Sure. Why not? Like, okay, cool. Let's do it. And that's how we got Hudson and Nathan.
But I wondered about that too. You mentioned about the Asian acting community is growing, and we've seen a large growth in this area. It feels like in pop culture, things like even Everything Everywhere All at Once, blowing up the Oscars a couple of years ago, or last year, I think it was last year. Crazy Rich Asians was a huge hit. Um, Are we seeing that advancement, or is that just smoke and mirrors?
We're seeing an advancement to an extent, and I think that Harrison can talk more about that. But like right now, it went from super charactery types from like nerds, villains, tech guys to these extremely beautiful, strong jawline, big pecs, six-pack abs, and uh they're getting more of the more prevalent jobs, but for the people that are more on like the rest of the spectrum, like we're still getting, the co-stars, the occasional guest star. We're not getting too much attention right now. And, you know, lovable average guys like me and Harrison would love some love too, because we love to love. And
Yeah.
loving to love is, lovable.
I think like we've definitely made advancements. I think a big part of why we wanted to make this movie together is, we've both been acting for, 10 plus years, and we audition for a handful of the same things every year. And I don't think we're very alike. Ivan might think we are, but I guess like from a Hollywood casting standpoint, we're pretty different. And um, when we see breakdowns for shows or movies nowadays, like if you have a friend group, typically you have one Asian guy. You can't have two. And then otherwise it makes it like an Asian movie or an Asian friend group. So very rarely would we ever have the opportunity outside of this movie to be in something together. It's like either Ivan or I would be in that project. Like we couldn't be in it together because there just weren't roles or projects that had opportunities for two Asian guys to just exist. So that's why, we wanted to make this so we can actually be in a project together because we just never had that opportunity before. And I think once we get to a point in the industry where we can have more diversity in friend groups, whether it's Asian, Black, Indigenous, whatever that may be, then I think that's going to be when we see full progress. Otherwise, it's like you're kind of checking off a box, like, okay, we have one Asian dude, like that's enough.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that because that is true. We've got these boxes, and it's like, okay, I've got one, but that's not representation. That's filling a slot. Um, I think it's so important. Like a film like this is just it's so funny, and it's so wonderful and it's so fun at the same time. Um, as we start to wrap up here, to you both, what do you hope the legacy of the film is of extremely unique dynamic?
We just hope that, or at least in my words or my point of view is I just hope that people can see this and it'll inspire them to make their own movies and not be so in their heads or so daunted by making something because uh one of the reason why we got into this business is because we wanted to have fun. It was really nice when we were kids. We picked up our iPhones or something like that, and filmed each other, you know, in the neighborhood, and that kind of sparked someone. Blah 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 blah. Vulnerabilities. Oh my.
Yeah, following up on what I've been saying, like, when we were kids, right? Like, we were so carefree in making things, and we did it because we loved it. And I feel like when we think about making a feature, I think it is very daunting, right? Like, obviously, like money is hard to come by to make a feature, and there's so many people involved, and especially if you've never done it before, it just seems like an insurmountable task. But I hope that, when people see this film, especially seeing like, the kids in it as well, having fun making their movies, like in all the flashback scenes, it reminds them that like, oh, we did this because we love doing it. And like, um, we are capable of creating features. And hopefully, this film inspires them a little bit more to do that.
Just like Back to the Future 2, the sky is the limit.
And Shrek 2,
And
which is
Shrek,
an underrated sequel.
underrated gem. Exactly. When we were kids, we didn't put limits on ourselves. We didn't think like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not good at looking enough. We're not this enough. We're not that enough. So like, yeah,
Um,
please continue, Steve.
yes. And as Rob Schneider says in every Adam Sandler movie, You can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He really kind of does. That's he's he walks with that for the rest of his life. Um, Honestly, you both are fantastic, and the film is just it's joy. The film is joy from start to finish. It's joy. I really appreciate the chance to speak with you. Thank you so much. I wish you the best of the festival and in the future.
Thank you, thank you. Inside Out and Frameline.
That's right. When does it air? When's the screening? Oh, there. Hey, you got the confetti going.
Inside Out is on May 25th at the TIFF Lightbox 3 at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. And yes, Harrison.
And yes,
Yes. And we'll be at Frameline June 22nd at 3:30 p.m. At the Vogue Theater.
great, wonderful. Honestly, thank you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.